Hello everybody, Stevie T here, and today I'm going to be offering something a little bit different from the other videos that I've done so far, in that I'm going to share with you one of my poems from my forthcoming book, one of many, period, and also one of many in the poetry realm, called The Darkest Ocean. And so I was led to share a poem from 2014. I've been writing poetry, just so you guys have some frame of reference. I've been writing some poetry. I've been writing poetry since 1999 in March. And, I had no words and no frame of reference at the time to understand what was really happening. But I now know that what was happening was I was channeling my late grandmother, who had just passed away just under a year ago before my very first poem, March 3rd, 1999. And I'll never forget that experience. And when it came through, I never really described this to people at the time. Again, didn't have a frame of reference, didn't really walk around sharing my heart on my sleeve as much as I do now. But I remember hearing like a gentle guidance, like and it's a voice, but not an audible voice, like not clairaudience, but it definitely was not my own voice or my own thought. It was an impression. It kind of like goes straight across the chest, but in the head space as well. It's quite odd to explain. Anyhow, I remember this voice was repeating to me this poem. And it was like 4 lines long, 4 or 5 lines long. And it just kept going. And I just remember looking at the newspaper. Back then, we would look at newspapers for jobs. And I was looking for a job, and I just kept hearing it. And then I heard, write it down. I didn't question, so I just wrote it down. And then I was like, huh. And then another one came, and then another one, and another, and another, and another. That day I must have written, it's in one of my other volumes. I'm on 7 volumes now, but that was the very first volume. And I think it was like 15 poems in that one day. And so what I realized, it was my grandmother. She's feeding them to me. And that was the way in which I would let and allow her in. And it was then that I understood and found out I'm a poet. I was a poet and didn't even know it. And so today I said, okay, for my YouTube channel, what is needed? I don't want to do what people expect. I don't want to do what people want. I want to do it for me first. I don't want to be looking for likes, looking for subscriptions, looking for all that. I'm here to shine my light, to be who I am, and to be. And so those that are attracted to this type of information and this channel and its content will find the treasure where they're supposed to find it, and it will just resonate with them. And so I'm kind of procrastinating because it's time to read a poem. And now I haven't shared these with a lot of people at all, but they are being published. So everything's under copyright and may not be used in part or by whole. May not be used. But I was told to read this one, and I read it again. And it's interesting. I was just talking to a friend on the phone about this. When you see a movie and you are at a certain state of consciousness or a certain age, and then you go and see that movie again, like 10 years later, it could be 4 months later, but you see it completely differently. Maybe one time around it was a comedy to you, and the next time around it's this drama heart-wrenching drama. And the same thing with songs. We can listen to songs and they're one thing to us, and then one time it might strike us very differently. That's right, Grandma. My grandma just came through. Struck a different chord. Yes, struck a different chord. Maybe it's playing on your heart because your heart is opening. So before, like I used to sometimes, still do a lot of the times, I say, what is up with these vapid songs on the radio? It sounds like garbage. Like what are they shoving down the airwaves? It's just like scrambling my brain. It's just, and then another time I will listen and I have to eat my own judgment. And that's because all I can do is witness and feel the emotion, the deep emotion in the content. And that's why I love art, because art can be anything to anyone at any time, and no one can tell you that what you have done or are doing is not art. If you're writing, no one can tell you that what you've written is not a poem, even if it does not rhyme. And the same thing with all creative activity. So here I go. This poem is called Diamond in the Sky with Love. I wrote this July 16th, 2014. It's kind of trippy to say that out loud because I feel like I live and die countless times a day. So, like, for example, do you ever catch yourself saying, oh yeah, blah, 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 2020, and you're like, wait a minute, did I just think I was in 2020 and it's 2018? So I have those experiences all the time. But as my guides and my ancestors and spirit as a whole and a collective has taught me, and the angels and everybody, time does not exist. All happening simultaneously. Very multi-dimensional experience. You and I are multifaceted, multi-dimensional beings of consciousness. I digress. Diamond in the sky. The twinkling of a star above. Bright and light, pulsating, blinking. Reaching my painted windows. Filtering in like stained glass. The rays color me. Just the blinking of the cosmos all around can evoke so much. Awaiting our messages as light transforms into sound. My multi-verse within, multiple song, verses upon verses harmoniously sung, are pieces of me as stars, as dust. They tell me so very much. All is love. Words do not come close. My heart knows. All a dance, a rhythm and a mighty pulse. Many rivers run through my soul as an echo, changing and molding my inner and outer reality. Malleable alchemic fires inside also dance, where my spirit resides around me. As I know it is not in my mind, it is not in my body. My soul is like a glowing diamond, spinning all around me. And as I use these painted windows to see above, the many melodies within these simultaneous realities of what is sung guide me with love. And may you always remember that you are the diamond in your own sky. And I'm being led to read something I wrote on the back of this particular volume. See, I like to know things ahead of time, and I don't know. I forgot what I wrote, so here goes. Life is beautiful. Life is effortless. Money comes easy to me. Friends in abundance come easy to me. We don't have tomorrow. No matter how complicated things seem or get, there is no day but today. I needn't strive. I needn't worry. I needn't struggle. I am that I am. And then I just signed my name. So, yeah, some evidence that I was always cheering myself up. My soul has always been the leader. And your soul is the leader. You can cheer yourself up. Affirmations. We can affirm positive things, or we can affirm negative things. My poetry speaks of a lot of dark and a lot of light. I used to think I was only creative when I was not feeling well or when I was depressed. Then that was the time to go create. However, with experimentation and being more open, I realized that's not true. And the reason why my poetry is called The Darkest Ocean is based on a dream that I had in this very room in 1999. About summer 1999, I want to say. And, you know those dreams you wake up from and you just can't get them out of your head. It was like, it's so vivid, so real, so lucid. I just had to get on my hands and knees. It was school days. Flip through a notebook on my floor and write out the dream. But the strangest thing happened to me. As I was writing out this dream, it wasn't coming out like, I saw this and then this happened. And then this happened and I saw this and I did this and with this person or saw that. It came out in prose. Prose. It came out in rhymes. And where places it did not rhyme, I wanted to make rhyme. But then over time, places where I had altered the lines, I corrected them back to the way that they were before. Because poems, like art, are not one-dimensional, and no one can tell you that what you have created is not what you think you have created. And not all things rhyme. The Darkest Ocean is basically a premise in a poem and a dream I had about how I was feeling very isolated, very alone and afraid. I could see happiness around me. It seemed like I was always on the outside looking in. But I was on a raft, on an island. On an island first. I was on an island. It kind of goes back to that saying, no man is an island. I didn't understand that concept at the time. But I remember I was on an island. I'm being led to explain this to you. I was on an island and I had a book with me. You know, when they always ask that question in pop culture, if you could pick 3 or 10 items to take with you on a deserted island, what items would you pick? In my dream, I've got this book. And I'm reading underneath a palm tree. By then, I had not yet gone to see a palm tree. Always loved palm trees and cactuses. So I created a little beautiful island for myself in this wide ocean. I couldn't see anything. But then as I began to really perceive what was really around me, the ocean was black. And it was scary. And then I realized I was not only not happy with it, but I was going to change it. I was going to make it better. But I felt stranded. I knew that I had to leave, but I was making excuses why not to go. Why to not go. And then I don't know where it came from to dream. Symbolism. I created a raft. And this raft was not the strongest raft. It was just the raft that I created that I knew and hoped and believed could get me to a shoreline somewhere. So I was using like my guidance system. And I was like, I don't know where the shoreline is. I don't see another shore. But I'm going to find one because I have to get out of here. I go. And then I see these birds going over the horizon onto this island. And it seemed like, oh, freedom, they're free. It's happiness there. There's a whole new place to explore, not just this little tiny island that I've been on. And it's something like this in the poem about the point where I had to leave the raft and swim to the next shore. And I'm a little emotional. Okay, so the poem goes something like, inside my heart and mind, all my eyes could see was light and darkness collide. And though they were full of razor blades, I swam through the choppy waves. As I heard light and darkness collide, the glitter chased me amazingly and chased me all the way as the waves placed me ashore. I don't travel to the darkest ocean anymore. And so you can see there the symbolism that it wasn't easy, but I made a decision to change my outlook on life, to change my life, to change the way I look at myself, the way I view everything around me. Paradigm change, paradigm shift. No longer in cognitive dissonance, changing my reality, because reality is malleable. I've always understood these things deep down inside, never really knew how to articulate such things. And then here it comes to what I do for a living and to help, to be of service to others. And I get to talk about these things all day long. It's so much fun. It's so fulfilling. And if you would like to take advantage of the reading special I have going on, in the description below, you will find the link to my website. I'm offering 30-minute readings for $30 USD via telephone, if you're in the USA, Skype, or in person. So it's only redeemable, this special offer, for people who have seen this video. And the end date on this is November 14th. So go ahead and contact me in the Contact Me form, and I'll give you the link for that. And that is, again, for a 30-minute reading special for $30 USD. I don't do specials. I haven't done one all year, and this is the last one of the year. So take advantage of that if your heart's calling you towards that. I will keep you up to date on where my poetry is heading. Many of you from way before, when this channel first started back in 2012, know that I have been writing and that I have books in me and they need to come out and become published. So there's been a lot of things in the background I haven't talked about, and I'm on my way. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week until we meet again. Have the week in which you choose to have. And remember, you are your own diamond in your own sky, day or night. Blessings.